I keep hoping that the woman I fell in love with is still in there somewhere, but with every day that passes, it feels less likely. I miss the love, the passion, and the connection we once shared. You used to be my safe place, the one I could rely on no matter what. Now I feel lost and alone, trying to understand why the woman I fell in love with is no longer here. I never thought I'd find myself longing for the way things used to be. The woman I fell in love with was so full of life, but now it feels like she's been replaced by someone I don't recognize. I don't know how we got here, but it's painful to watch the woman I loved become someone who no longer sees me the way she used to. Where is the warmth, the connection, the love we shared? There was a time when everything felt effortless between us, but now it feels like I'm trying to love someone who isn't the person I fell for, and it's a struggle I don't know how to win. The woman I fell in love with would never let us get to this point. She would have fought for us, for the connection we once shared. Now it feels like we're both standing on opposite sides, and I'm not sure how to bridge the gap. I miss the way you used to look at me, the way your touch would bring me comfort. Now it's like there's a distance between us that I can't cross. What happened to the woman I loved? It's heartbreaking to see the person I once adored become someone I don't know. The woman I fell in love with was full of life and passion, but now I feel like I'm chasing a ghost. The love we shared used to be a fire that burned bright, but now it feels like it's been reduced to embers. The woman I fell in love with would have never let us get this far apart. I feel like I'm holding on to memories of a person who isn't here anymore. The woman I fell in love with had a certain glow, a warmth that I can't find in you now. I never thought I'd be standing here, wondering where the love we had went. The woman I fell in love with would never act the way you do now. I can't help but feel like we're losing each other. The woman I fell in love with was always there, always present. But now it feels like you're slipping away, and I can't do anything to stop it. What happened to us? I want to believe that you're still the person I fell in love with, but it's becoming harder every day. The distance between us is growing, and I don't know how to close it. I feel like I'm living with a stranger, someone who doesn't know me like she used to. The woman I fell in love with would have never treated me like this. What happened to her? It's as if we're two different people now, no longer connected in the way we once were. The woman I fell in love with had a heart full of love, but now it feels like I'm trying to find that love in a stranger. I miss the way we used to communicate, the way we understood each other without words. Now it feels like we're speaking different languages, and I'm left wondering where the woman I fell in love with went. I can't help but feel like I'm losing the person I once knew. The woman I fell in love with was full of hope and love, but now all I see is a shadow of who she used to be. The way you used to look at me, the way you used to love me, where did it all go? I can't help but wonder if the woman I fell in love with has completely disappeared. It's painful to see the person I loved become someone I can no longer understand. The woman I fell in love with was full of energy and light, but now it feels like that light is dimming. I feel like I'm holding onto a memory of a love that doesn't exist anymore. The woman I fell in love with was always there for me, but now it's like I'm chasing something that's already gone. The woman I fell in love with had this amazing energy, this warmth that made everything feel right. Now it feels like I'm alone in this relationship, and I don't know how to bring her back. Every time I try to reach out, it feels like I'm being pushed away. The woman I fell in love with wouldn't have shut me out like this. What happened to her, and what happened to us? There's a part of me that still believes the woman I fell in love with is in there somewhere, but it's becoming harder to find. I miss the love we once shared, and I don't know how to get it back. You used to be the one I could turn to, the one who understood me completely. Now it feels like we're strangers, and I'm left wondering what happened to the woman I fell in love with. I can't help but mourn the loss of the person I thought I knew. The woman I fell in love with had so much to offer, and now it feels like she's been replaced by someone who no longer sees me. I want to go back to the days when everything felt simple, when you and I were so in tune with each other. Now it feels like we're both living in separate worlds, and I can't seem to find my way back to you. You've changed, and I don't know how to reach the person I once knew. The way you used to make me feel, the warmth in your voice, the spark in your eyes. Where has it gone? I miss the woman I fell in love with, and it feels like she's slipping further away every day. I can't help but wonder if the woman I fell for still exists beneath the surface of the person you've become. There's a distance between us now, and it's like the connection we had is slowly fading into nothingness. I remember the days when everything was so easy between us. Your laughter would light up a room, and the way you looked at me made me feel seen and loved. Now it feels like you're a stranger to me, and it's breaking my heart. There was a time when we were so in sync, when we knew each other's thoughts before they were even spoken. But now, I feel like I'm constantly searching for the woman I once knew, and she's nowhere to be found. What happened to the passion, the deep connection we once shared? It feels like every time I try to reach out, you slip further away. I'm not sure who you are anymore, and I'm struggling to hold on to the love I thought would last forever. It's like watching someone you love drift away right before your eyes, but you can't do anything to stop it. The woman I fell in love with isn't here anymore, and I'm left wondering if she ever truly existed. I never imagined that I would be standing here, questioning everything I thought I knew about us. The woman I fell in love with would never act like this, so distant, so closed off. What happened to us? I want to believe that the woman I fell in love with is still here, somewhere deep inside, but it's getting harder to recognize her in the way you act now. I miss the warmth, the tenderness, the love we once shared. When we first met, you were everything I ever wanted. Your energy, your spirit, your laughter. But now, all I see is a shell of the woman I fell for, and it hurts more than I ever thought possible. I feel like I'm losing the person I once cherished the most. The woman who was kind, thoughtful, and full of life is slipping away, and I can't figure out why. I just want to know what happened to her. Sometimes I wonder if you still see me the way you used to. The woman I fell in love with would have never made me feel so small, so unheard. What changed between us? And when did we start drifting apart? It's as if the woman I fell in love with is slowly fading into the background, and in her place is someone I don't recognize. It's a painful thing to realize, but I can't ignore it any longer. There was a time when we couldn't imagine life without each other, when everything felt so right. Now, I feel like I'm trying to love someone who isn't the person I fell for. What happened to us? You've become someone I don't know, and it's breaking me apart. The warmth, the tenderness, the love that once radiated from you, where did it go? I miss the woman who made me feel whole. We used to share our dreams, our fears, our deepest desires. But now it feels like we're two strangers living in the same space. The woman I fell in love with wouldn't shut me out like this. I never imagined that I'd be standing here, wondering where everything went wrong. The woman I fell in love with would never treat me the way you do now. What happened to the love and connection we once shared? It feels like I'm constantly searching for the woman I once knew, the woman who was full of life, laughter, and love. Now it's like I'm left with a stranger, and I can't help but mourn the loss. I don't recognize the person you've become, and it hurts more than I can put into words. The woman I fell in love with was kind, compassionate, and full of warmth. Now, all I see is distance and coldness. We used to be inseparable, connected in ways I can't even describe. Now it feels like we're worlds apart, and I can't help but wonder where the woman I fell in love with went. The way you used to look at me, the way you held me, it made me feel invincible. Now it's like I'm begging for a fraction of that attention, and it's tearing me apart to see the woman I loved slip away. I want to hold on to the hope that the woman I fell in love with is still in there somewhere, but every day it becomes harder to recognize her. What happened to the tenderness and the spark we once shared? It's like I'm losing a part of myself too as you change before my eyes. The woman I fell in love with had so much love to give, and now I feel like I'm desperately trying to find that woman again. I don't know how we ended up here with so many walls between us. The woman I fell in love with would have never built walls like this, and I can't help but wonder if I'll ever see her again. There's a certain sadness in seeing the person you love become someone you don't know. The woman I fell in love with would never ignore me the way you do now. What happened to us?